The Finding Purpose podcast is proudly brought to you by Relive the Moments, founded by visionary entrepreneur John Lim. We live in a world where it's easy to capture memories, but Relive the Moments makes it effortless to re-experience and share them. From NFC-enabled tap coasters and photo frames to interactive video cards, Relive the Moments turns everyday objects into unforgettable tap-to-experience keepsakes. Imagine gifting a wedding guest a coaster that instantly opens your highlight reel, or giving your event sponsors a custom frame that tells your story with just one tap. Whether you're celebrating a milestone, planning a wedding, honoring a legacy, or elevating a brand experience, Relive the Moments is the bridge between the past and present, between memory and connection. It's not just a product, it's an experience. Visit www.relivethemoments.com and use promo code PURPOSE for 25% off your first order. Let's bring your memories to life, one tap at a time.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Finding Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Adam Vora, and I'm so grateful to have you here. This podcast is all about exploring the journeys of incredible individuals, people who have faced adversity, found their purpose, and are now making an impact in their communities. But it's also about my journey. Over the years, I've faced my own obstacles, moments of doubt, and struggles with identity. Through it all, I found my purpose in giving back, creating a space where people can detach from the negative emotions and stigmas they may associate with their own stories, just like I did with mine. Here, we have real conversations about growth, resilience, and transformation. Whether you're searching for direction, striving for personal development, or simply looking for a place to feel seen and understood, this is for you. So if these conversations resonate with you, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with us on social media. Now let's dive into today's episode.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Finding Purpose podcast, second episode of the year. I'm Adam, and I appreciate you being here. Whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts or watching on the official YouTube channel of the Finding Purpose podcast, thank you for your continued support. If you haven't already, please subscribe, leave a review, and share. It helps this community keep growing. Last week's episode with Claudio Valenzuela was a powerful reminder that purpose is built through service, creativity, and integrity. Today's guest brings that same intentionality into the world of business and branding. Mike Szwed is the founder of Mind Your Business Media and the strategist known as the man behind the brand. His career is a masterclass in evolution from the insurance industry to corporate marketing and eventually taking the leap to build his own agency. Today, Mike helps high-ticket coaches and consultants scale through automated client acquisition systems, allowing them to grow revenue without sacrificing their time. Beyond business, Mike is a former Division I athlete and a current jiu-jitsu practitioner, bringing discipline, focus, and a competitive edge into every area of his life. Whether he's growing his agency, managing his real estate portfolio, or raising 3 young children, Mike is living proof that you can build a powerful business while maintaining a high-performance lifestyle. I didn't know you had 3 fucking children. That's crazy.
We'll get into it.
Let's get into it, bro. Welcome, dude.
Yep. Thank you.
How old are you?
25.
You have 3 kids? Jesus.
I'll be 26 in like 2 weeks. So.
Okay. Damn, dude. Well, I mean, we were just like chopping it up, bro. And like you're talking about like your Philly roots. So, normally, I kind of start off just, telling, about the early days of Mr. Mike Szwed. And I have a feeling I'm going to learn a lot about you. And I'm really grateful that you made the ride down 2.5 hours. So,
of course.
Why don't we start there?
Yeah. So, early days, I never thought ever that I would become a business owner. Had no intentions. I always say, like, I tell the joke of everyone when they're little, they have like their dream. I played soccer, so I thought I was going to be a professional soccer player. I have like vivid memories of like my neighbors coming out to me, like, you play soccer a lot. What do you think you're going to do when you grow up? Like, professional soccer player. No plan B. Fast forward, obviously, I'm not playing professional soccer, but I like to, say that I'm I'm living the dream still. Like I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. I learned to love this, and yes, that's where we're at now.
Yeah. You grew up in Delco, right?
No, so I was in Northeast Philly. I'm in.
Oh, you're way in Northeast Philly. Though.
Yeah. So I was in like Park. You know the Franklin Mills Mall?
Yeah.
Down the street from the Franklin Mills Mall, like walking
That is
distance.
so crazy, bro.
Yeah.
We used to go there like around the holidays, and because the Franklin Mills Mall was close to where my grandpa lived, so like a lot of the times during the holidays we'd stay at his house because my grandma lived in Bryn Mawr and she had a just like a 1-bedroom apartment. So when we stayed there, we'd have to all like kind of sleep on this couch and on the floor in the living room. So we'd stay at my grandpa's house a lot, and yeah, we used to go to Franklin Mills Mall a lot. That's crazy.
Yeah, I have like memories of, because we'd all pack into like a row home for like Thanksgiving and all of that, and then you go Thanksgiving, and then midnight hits, and you're like, oh, let's go walk to Franklin Mills.
Really?
Yeah, so we'd walk right over, and that's where you did all your shopping and everything.
Yeah, that's crazy. When you were growing up, like what was that like?
I like to tell people I'm not a story of rags to riches. So, like, and when I say that, it's not like my family didn't come from money. So, not in that aspect, but like I was built on love. Like I had that support, I had that safety net. So a lot of people tell the story of, and it's super relatable when you hear like someone down on their luck and no support. That wasn't me. I had that built-in, support system, but no one in my family, like the difference was that no one in my family was an entrepreneur. So, and if they were, it was nothing close to what I was doing. So as much support as I had always dealt with this thing of like, they just don't get it. They just don't understand. And I think right before the show, you and I had kind of talked about how I was the first person to actually graduate college in my family. So it was like super cool. Like, I did this and now I'm going to get that corporate job and, I got to figure it out. And then life just throws curveballs at you.
Yeah.
And you find that like you're sorting it out. But I always had that safety net growing up for sure.
I mean, I love that you're a Philly guy. I love that you went to St. Joe's. I love that you're an Eagles fan. Go fucking Birds. And you have that like Northeast Philly like roots and being the first one to graduate college from your family. How big of a family? How many siblings do you have?
So I only have one sibling, but my mom, my grandfather is one of 7. And then on my grandmom's side, she's the only one. My grandfather on my dad's side only has one. And so on one side, like my grandparents, there's 10 of them, 10 siblings.
That's wild.
On the total. On the other side, there's only 3 of them total. But then you got to imagine their families trickle down. So on my mom's side, it's huge. Like I said, we all pack into a row home. I mean it. It is packed. Like people
Nieces
in the basement, people in the So like I always joke around. My fiance, she has a smaller family. So like when she got brought into my family, it was like a shock to her. She was like taken back. Like, oh, I'm not used to this. Like we were all these strangers these holidays.
That's overwhelming. I mean, it's funny because with me, like I have a small family, and a lot of my friends have like enormous families, and it was just the 4 of us. It was me, my dad, my sister, my mom. And what I mean by like have a small family, I'm talking about like really my immediate family.
Yeah.
On my mom's side, we grew up in Connecticut for the most part. My mom's side was always all based in Philly, so that's where all the cousins were. That's where everybody was. So having them all around us, we didn't have. So we were kind of out here on an island, and my dad's side was all back in India. So when I see like my friends' families where they're huge, it's such a different vibe, but it's like a very loving vibe. So obviously, like you graduate, you graduate, and you said something earlier too that was like really important, where you were like, hey, like I didn't even use the degree, and I ended up. Did you start your business like right after?
No, so actually, like I went to school for marketing. Funny enough. But they teach you like corporate marketing in school. Like they don't teach you how to just run a business. And like that whole online world that I'm a part of is so new that when people are like, oh, I'm an expert and I've been doing it it's like, man, you've been doing it for a decade. well, things have changed. Like AI wasn't around a decade ago. I'm doing things now that a year ago didn't even exist.
Yeah.
And you just got to be up with the times. And but actually it's funny, right out of school, I went into insurance.
Really?
Yeah. So I went, before I even fully graduated, I started getting my insurance licenses because I needed a job lined up because my daughter came before I graduated college.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Yeah, it's my firstborn.
With your fiance?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Oh.
yeah, it was
That's awesome though.
yeah. So I always say, like, as much as I wasn't from, like, as I had that support system, we didn't come from money. So she, like, we're the same age,
Yeah.
and she got her associates and was like doing really well. CVS of all places.
Yeah.
Just worked her way up, corporate ladder, was doing really well as a manager. They brought her into a district leader. She was making six figures while I'm still in school. She
That's
had her own,
crazy.
she already had a mortgage. She had, brand new car, the whole thing. So I'm bringing her around my college friends. We're all broke.
Yeah.
And I invite her out to the city, and we go out, and it would be like,
By city you mean Philly?
I do mean Philly.
Okay.
So I'd invite her out, and she's like refusing to let anyone pay. She's buying everyone. They're like, who is this girl? So
Yeah.
then fast forward, find out she's pregnant. It was, I'm coming home. I'm at a track meet because I ran D1.
Yeah.
So, like, we're away. I'm coming home on a bus. She's like, I got to tell you something. I'm like, okay. Not thinking that, obviously. So come home. Sure enough, test is positive right away. Right then and there, I'm like, I'm dropping out of school. That's it. I'm done. And she supported me through it. She said, no, you're not. That's stupid. Like, don't be
Yeah.
dumb right now. So she supported me through that. And that's ultimately what led me to where I am now. That was like, I didn't know it at the time, but that was like planting the seed for my why on why I do the things I do. And I'm so motivated at, like, my age to want more and more and more. It was on that moment, like, that someone had your back and was like, no, you're going to finish what you started. And then I was like, that's it. Now you're never going to work again. You're going to live the life you want because you helped me do that.
Okay, there's so much I want to unpack there because
Go for it.
that was
Yeah,
super
it's a lot.
powerful, and I love that. So, one of the things that I always say is sometimes you just need one cheerleader. Sometimes you just need one person to believe in you, and looks like you found, what's her name?
Mackenzie.
You found that in Mackenzie.
Mm-hmm.
Let's unpack that a little bit. Like, how important was that for you in that moment?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, tensions are high. Like, I come home, I see that, and, like, my heart drops. I'm like, I'm not ready. Like, I'm not established at all. So I know she is, but obviously I don't want to be that, like, lack of a better word, that deadbeat that just, lets her handle everything. And I'm like, you know what? You're established. We're good.
Yeah.
That was never me. So right away, heart drops, and to have her look at me and just say, like, the first thing I asked her, I remember it, is I looked right at her. I'm like, well, how do you feel? Because this is on her. Like, I mean, I'm not the one that's going to carry the baby. So I asked her how she felt. She goes, I'm fine. How are you? And I was like, I'm with you. And then that's when I was like, I'm dropping out.
Yeah.
Obviously. And then she goes, no. So her allowing me to finish that, because I told you I'm the first one to graduate. So her allowing me to experience that moment of graduating and having that degree, everything was priceless. And I remember at the time I'm still running too. Like,
Yeah.
I had goals in track. I worked so hard. And even there, she's like, you're not going to stop training. You're not going to stop doing this. Supported me every meet. She never missed a meet. Every single meet she's at. Like, it was ridiculous. It's a level of support. I told you I grew up in a household full of love, a huge family, but I've never been down on my luck. Like, I've never gone into a difficult situation. I'm super lucky in that growing up, that, like, I was kind of, like, coddled and brought up.
Yeah.
My parents really.
You were
really,
like 19 at the time, or 18.
So at the time of this, I am 21.
Oh, you're 21. Okay.
Yeah. And so that was like eye-opening to be like, oh, I really hit a hard situation here.
Mhm.
And she just looked right at me and was like, oh no,
Let's
it's
do
fine.
it.
Like I got you.
Yeah. So, wow, that's awesome. you become a father
Yeah.
9 months later,
Yeah.
and you're 22, and you graduated at that point. Your firstborn was born after you graduated.
So she was born and I was still in school.
She was born. You were still in school.
Yeah. So I was finishing up.
Yeah.
And there were track meets. Like, she's a newborn. She's at like my track. She was the only one like right at the end. Made it to all my track meets and everything like that. So that was pretty cool. And I told you I kept training. So I actually, because everything I started doing became intentional, because I was like, if I'm going to spend time away from my family, because I obviously didn't live in my apartment anymore. That apartment in Philly was gone, and I was living in Jersey, and I was commuting to school. And I was like, if I'm going to leave my family and get up in the morning and go over the bridge and train and go to school and do all this, I was very, very intentional about
Benjamin Franklin
everything.
Bridge.
Yep, always.
Yeah.
But
I love how you said everything after that was intentional.
yeah,
And listen, dude, that's like the root of this podcast. Like you find out that you're having a kid. You have a kid, and yeah, it makes things a little bit harder. But understanding that everything is intentional now moving forward, and having that why you talked about that are so important. So I want to jump in a little bit about the athletics, because I think that collegiate athletics, or anyone who competes at that level, there are certain characteristics that I like to highlight when it comes to work ethic, when it comes to determination, when it comes to competitiveness, that I think really plant seeds when you eventually, strap them up and hang them up, and you enter in another venture. So being a competitive athlete with obviously the additional pressure of also being a father, and also having to be a partner and support your fiance in motherhood as well, but you're also a competitor. Talk about competition, what you learned from it, and perhaps how it's had a lot lasting impact being an athlete at a high level.
Yeah. So ever since I could remember, like youngest age, I was always competitive. I always was like lucky, because my family, I just came from a family of super fast people, so I always was like fast. Used it in soccer. It was like a big weapon, and then everyone was like, you got to get in a track, and I'm like, no. And then I went out one time in 8th grade and won like a big event, and I was like, I'll never run again, because now the pressure was on. Now people looked at me and they were like, oh, he's fast, like, and I didn't want to do it. I actually didn't start running again because of that pressure. And I didn't like it, because in soccer, you're a team. In track, spotlight's on you. It's an individual sport. As much as you have a team around you, you're still competing at an individual level. So it's like he wins, not we win. And I actually didn't run again until the very end of my junior year of high school. So it was 8th grade, and I just stopped. And then end of my junior year, I'm seeing like really, really good soccer players not get scholarships. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, if I want to get into a really good university, as I told you, like, I didn't come from money to just be able to be like, don't worry about it, sweetie. You no debt for you when you get out. So I had to figure out, okay, what am I going to do here? Because I do want to go to school and I do want to compete in something. So I was like, whatever, I'll go do the track thing. I'll try it out, because I know I was good at it before. I go out and right away start running relays and everything. And I started to love it, because I'm like, oh, there is a bit of a team, like a camaraderie here, like where I could come in and, compete as a team. Like we can win team titles. And I didn't know that. So I was like, this is cool. And that sparked something in me. My first year, I ended up winning a lot of major championships, like in our state. And that was like off of no training. So in the year after, I'm like, I'm all in. Now I'm going indoor, outdoor, the same thing. Take us all the way up to nationals. We end up.
That's sick.
Yeah, so we ended up. It was funny. We were ranked 8th in the nation in our 4x8, like overall.
That's wild.
Everyone had about the same time. I was running like an insane relay time, but because I was so inexperienced, when I would run in like a pack or anything like that, I had no clue what I was doing. So like my time by myself would be like, just okay, it's pretty fast. It's not anything. And then I would go into the relay and I'm running like ridiculous times.
Yeah.
And it was just because when you're running a relay, if I'm the anchor, by the time that I get that baton, the pack's all thinned out. You got people one by one. So I can just hone in on that guy that's up front and just say, okay, that's who I need to eventually work my way up to and catch. There's no navigating anything. It's just from the start, I can rip and
That's
go
wild.
chase them down.
So, it's funny because like one of the things that you said is like you move fast.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously you move fast. You have 3 kids and you're 26. You had your first one 22nd, 22. So then you must have had your second and third at like what, 23,
Back to back.
24?
Yeah, so my
It's
youngest
like
is
boom,
3
boom,
months.
boom.
Yeah.
That's wild. Okay. So you have 3 kids. You start in insurance. It's not for you, right?
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Brief, but told me a lot.
Yeah.
So, I got my licenses, and right away I did property and casualty, which is like home and auto. I got my life too, so like do home, auto, your life insurance. Worked for State Farm. Then I was like, not for me.
Not a good name.
So yeah, I kept it going. I was like, we will.
Guess I'm not getting that State Farm endorsement.
Yeah, do not now.
Shit.
I don't know if you want it.
Nah, fuck them.
But I ended up leaving pretty soon after. I'm like, okay, I got a degree in marketing. I'm going to get in marketing. That's where the money's at. So I leave, but I did all this work for these licenses. So I kept them going. So I had like my life insurance. I did it like on the side as like an independent agent. And but you go through these courses, and it's funny because like I'm a big learner. Like everything, I feel like as I go through everything, you're there for a reason. There's something you could pick up from every situation in life. So I'm progressing through, and I get to my corporate marketing role, but still in the back of my mind, the beginning, they make you sell door to door. So in the back of my mind, I'm taking in this insurance thing now, like everything's risk related. I thought that was like crazy, but in one of the biggest industries in the world, everywhere you look at, even in banking, when they give you a loan, everything's related to risk. So if this guy is less risky to lend to, or if he has no accidents in his past, then they look at that and they go, oh, there's less chance he's going to do it in the future. And they would give you better rates, or they want you to come bank with them, or they want you to come get a policy with them because they less likelihood of them actually paying you out.
Yeah.
Or being stuck on the hook for the money. So I feel like, there was a reason for that. And like a reason for me learning that. I was like, I don't know why it stuck with me, but as I get into business and into marketing and everything, I started to see it. I'm like, value is all a risk equation. So I'll break it down like how I view value, because all throughout college they just go value, value, value. What's your value? When you want to get that big job, what's the value you provide? And they don't tell you how to break it down. They just say, just remember this word value, and they just leave it. And then I was like, okay, it's important, but you didn't really break it down for me. So this is how I view it. It's if risk is low, then price is high. And if risk is high, then price has to be low. So I'll give you an example of how when I started, I went out, my prices were dirt cheap. But also, I was a very risky bet because I was brand new in business and I did not hide it.
I want to just like push back, but just like a little clarification.
Yeah.
No, just a little clarification. So you're talking about as you as a seller had to have lower prices because in order to attract clients, it was a risk because at that point you had no credibility.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I was brand new. I was wheeling and dealing, selling just the things I was doing were worth way more, but I had zero credibility, to your point. So for someone to go and take that risk and be the first client to trust me and be like, yeah, I'm going to go with this guy.
Bro, I can relate to that so much. And, I'm in the 3rd year of my business. And in the first year, I didn't know my value and didn't understand my value. And, I was working for this this company. They were my first client, affluent company. And I priced myself so low. And then when I realized how low I priced, it was too late, but it taught me a lesson on, okay, like I do bring more value.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that. And, I think also in that first year, you kind of do things, like pro bono for people just to, be in the right rooms, generate the connections that can be long term. So, I did that definitely in my first year. But I get what you're saying where the whole value thing is like also like the Rolodex of work that you're doing and you're like establishing yourself. But continue like on talking about like the value equation.
Yeah. So I'm a big like Alex Hormozy fan. I don't know if you've read his books or anything, but
I like Alex.
yeah. So I always like bring this up. Everyone loves him. People rarely can. He's very good at breaking down complex, actual ideas into like really easy to understand, bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
And I feel that some people just read the book and then throw like, cool, I read it. He knows what he's talking about. And then they don't implement the ideas or they don't think on them. So me having this idea of risk, when I broke down his value equation, I boiled it down to the same thing. It's like, what's my likelihood of achieving this thing? If you can make it greater, then they're more likely to go with you. Like perceived outcome of, So when I'm looking at like things like that, I related it back because a lot of people I know are like, oh, Hormozy. So I'm like, well, think about it this way. I think it's a lot easier to understand. Everyone has to partake in insurance in some way or something like that, or you're going to get a loan at some point. If you have a mortgage, you get a car payment.
Yeah.
In some way, someone's doing that. So it's real easy for them to understand that the reason that your rate's higher is because you're young or you're inexperienced or you have a history of doing that bad thing that they don't want you to do. So with me, when I saw, hey, I have no clue what I'm doing. My prices have got to be low. They've got to be free. That's what I ended up doing.
Yeah.
And then the cool thing is there's a flip side to that. So when you know what you're doing, now the prices are high and the payoff is there. And that little piece right there wasn't so much anything that like I'm like, oh, now, but it was something when I was doing it for free, it was like hope for me. It was like, if this is true right now, then the flip side must also be true. And it's just how much work can I do without seeing results? Like, how much can I endure?
Yeah.
To push through and actually get to the point where I'm like, I know what I'm doing now, and there's proof that I know what I'm doing. And because of that, I can charge a premium price and support my family and grow this thing.
Yeah. And that's obviously where you are now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's, just to clarify with my audience, why don't you tell them exactly what you do?
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
Yeah. So I started out doing marketing, the whole, like everything you asked me to do. I'd just be like, yeah, I can learn that. and I did it with mainly contractors. So jumped in that field and I was like, there we go. This is my base. And I got into contractors because my corporate job, that's who they targeted, and I had a lot of connections there. So I was like, let's just feed off of that and make the transition easy. Fast forward, I actually ended up going into working with high-ticket coaches and consultants. The reason for that was their offers were just much better. Like it was high-ticket, which was why I got with contractors. But now, when you're looking at these guys, contractors will say, I'm all word of mouth or I'm all booked out. And those are true things. Like word of mouth, I tell people it's king. Like if your brother comes to you and goes, hey, I went to this restaurant, they were great, they're going to be like, okay, I'm going to go to that restaurant. You don't even look at the reviews. You just go, I'm going to trust him. So you're never going to beat that. But with coaches and consultants, a lot of them operate online and they operate nationwide. So when we're talking about you're at capacity or you can't do this, can't do that, that's true for contractors more often than not. That's a valid, point right there. But with the coaches, I'm like, oh, we can scale you to what number do you want to make? How much can you handle?
Yeah.
How much can your business? How much are you set up to endure right now? So, I went into that, and more specifically, rather than saying, yeah, I can do everything for you, man, we'll do it all. You kind of learn that you're not a master of everything. You got to really focus in on what works. So I actually build out their strategy in the funnels. So what that means is I'll do everything from starting them out. I'll be writing out, ad copy, the cold traffic plan. Then when we go into the funnel, I say, okay, well, now we just build out this funnel. All that means is like, how can we stop leaks? Like, I want to make it as seamless as possible to get them from I don't know you to I'm paying you.
Yeah.
So how can we do that very seamlessly where the person almost doesn't even notice that they went down this entire rabbit hole into you? Now you look like a celebrity. And on the back end, what are the offers and how can we structure them to capture as much revenue as possible? So whether it's, hey, if you have a book, I want to leverage your book. That's authority. That makes you look like a celebrity. You have a huge following. I want to leverage that following. You have a super unique story. What can we leverage about you that ties into your offer that now we hook people, and that's kind of what I do.
Huh. So, obviously you've had success with that. And you talked about like Hormozi kind of being, a quote unquote mentor for you when you were able to really study him and, read his books. Talk about like why this has become your passion.
Yeah. So I told you I had never seen myself being in this spot.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I was like, oh, professional soccer player. Or like, and then I was like, at one point, I'm like, corporate job, like set up. And so this really became a passion to me. First of all, when I first jumped into this, totally money driven.
Yeah.
At the start. I was looking at in my the reason I even made the jump was I'm looking at, like I said, we had a mortgage, car payments, baby. I can see in my corporate job that I'm not getting a raise anytime soon. I'm brand new.
Yeah.
So I can see like my bank account just going, and I'm like, all right. So right now I have a nest egg. Like I've not even a nest egg, a little cushion.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can either take the jump now and really try to go after this thing, or I can wait until I have nothing and then I have to do it. I was like, I'd rather do it while I have a little bit of time to try to figure this thing out. And as I told you, like I actually had to do it for free for a little bit. So even then it was like, like I had no money, zero. Like I worked I down my last dollar before I was ready to say, okay, I'm ready to charge.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was in that process of learning, because I'm like a continuous learner. That's common theme amongst anything I've done in my life. It's just I love to learn. So once I start to dedicate myself to something, I almost obsess over it. That with soccer, with track, then jiu-jitsu, I learn very, very quickly because I obsess over it and I find common themes and I implement them across different channels. So once I found out that I was really, really good at this thing, then I was like, oh, how far can I take it?
Yeah.
Like now I'm excited. Now it's a game to me. So the gamification of it all is, I guess, what really, really started to make me obsess over it. And then it's like, oh, I'm the best in my area at this. Now I'm the best in my region at this. And then it became creating an offer where it's like, I'm not even commoditized anymore. If you want this specific type of help, there's only one place to get it. And then now it's like, I can name the price.
Yeah.
Because again, back to the Alex's offers book, everyone's like, oh yeah, I read that. And now I'm like, okay, so tell me what you do. And they'll be like, well, I run, like for me, they'll be like, I run a digital marketing agency. I'm like, oh, so you're like that guy down the street? How much do you charge? And he's like, $5,000 per month. And I'm like, that guy does $2,000. So I'm probably going to go with him.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. Like you didn't tell me how you're different. But now when I say I specifically work with high ticket coaches and consultants, and on top of that, we actually analyze where your authority is. We do the entire thing. And at the end, we'll even put the salespeople in place to close them for you. Now it's like, who else does that? And they're going to look around. They're going to Google, and they're not going to find anything. And if they do find anything, Google's going to be telling them how expensive it is to, cut and paste all these different pieces together.
Yeah.
And they're going to come back to me and go, that sounds like a great deal.
Yeah. So like you're a one-stop shop in digital marketing from generating the digital image and digital marketing strategy to actually closing the sales, which is wild. You did say something there that I love when you said, I had this nest egg and I could start there or I could start, once I have nothing, when I have to start. More often than not, most people start when they have to. Where do you attribute that mindset to understanding that if I don't start now, I'm just going to have to start later anyway?
Yeah. So again, like I like to gamify things. So when I was looking at that, I'm watching, like, I didn't even almost see it as, like, obviously there was a lot of stress in that situation. Like, I come home, I look at my baby, and I go, okay, I got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. Bang your head against the wall. Like, I've never been in a situation like that. I'm young, and I'm like, tasked with solving this problem.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is, okay, if there's a problem in front of me, I can solve it. There's nothing I can't figure out. And even if it was like, I had to go work night work or I had to do this or that, I was willing to do it. There's no laziness to it. It's just like, I got to know how.
Yeah.
So as you're watching your money go down, I'm watching videos. I'm trying to figure out anything. I'm talking to people because I'm very social. So I'll go and I'll ask anyone any question. Like, I'm open book. And from that, I started to hear other people's stories where they're like, I took the leap. And they kept saying, I took the leap. And I'm like, took the leap? Like, what do they mean by that? So then I obviously come into this situation. Now I'm like, okay, I know what taking the leap means now. Like it looks like I'm either going to go under or I'm going to like sink or swim here. And I knew that in order to start it up, I had to have X amount of money to even buy software and the different things I was going to do to fulfill. And I was like, if they don't pay me up front, I'm going to need this to fulfill. And I was like, I won't be able to do that. I won't even be able to work for free because I want the money. Like, I will be so broke, I won't be able to work for free. And that's when I was like, I got to just do it now. Like, it's now or never, because if it's too late, then I'm going to be going around panhandling to friends, which is something like I like from a pride perspective. I know it's like terrible, but I always like to do things myself. Yeah. Which is something else we'll definitely touch on. I like to do some things myself and have like control. So in that situation, it was like, I'm gonna lose control, and I couldn't do it. So I just take the leap. And the funny thing is, my company that I worked for, we had a non-compete, so I couldn't even go after certain clients that I already had contact with. And now I'm like, I couldn't even target big clients. I had to go and like totally source this other book of business. Yeah. And just start from scratch, which is something I didn't really plan for until I like was talking to someone. They're like, do you have a non-compete? I'm like, I don't think so. I looked in, I'm like, oh, I do. So I guess I can't target anyone there.
That's fucking wild. Quick break to shout out our sponsor, Relive the Moments. Founded by John Lim, they're redefining how we share memories. From tap-to-play photo frames to interactive coasters, they turn ordinary objects into powerful, shareable experiences. Perfect for weddings, events, or milestone moments. Relive, reconnect, reimagine. Check them out at www.relivethemoments.com. Now back to the show. Dude, it's just like really fascinating, and it's funny because just talking to you, I could tell like how different we are. Like you're very like left brain, want to learn facts, technical, and I'm like not. I'm just not. And a lot of the things, even on the calls that we've had in regards to projects that we're working on, I'm like, wait a second, bro. Like, can you just slow this down and like really dumb it down for me?
That's what I need. That's what I have trouble with. I'll get like high level. Yeah. And then people will be like, can you just explain that a little bit? And I'm like, okay.
Well,
fine.
I always find that when I speak to people who speak the way you do about what you do, then they're really grounded in their purpose. They're grounded in their passion. They're doing what they want to do. They're doing what they're really good at, and they are an expert in their respective field. So that was something that obviously drew me to you when I was like, all right, like he's the right guy. Obviously, you came from a good referral in Dan. And while all this business building is going on, you're a father and you got 3 kids. And I'd love to talk a little bit how, fatherhood has changed you on a more personal level.
100%. So I always say that, like, growing up, I was not organized. Not at all. Like, even now, I'm not as organized as I'd like to be. Everyone, I think, strives to be, like, a little bit more, in control, have their ducks in a row. So having my kids, having my daughter, I'll say, first was like a wake-up call, because now it's like I can't just sleep when I want to sleep and wake up and do this and do that, and because my only constraint isn't just work. Now it's like I got to get up in the middle of the night, feed her. She's on a schedule. And she's off her schedule. Then we're all in for it.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, I've got to be regimented, because I need her to be regimented for me to get any sleep. So that was like the beginning. Then we added on my son, and that was what I thought was going to be hard, and doing it over again actually wasn't bad. Because we had them so close to each other, and we did that purposely, because I couldn't see anyone in my family having kids anytime soon, and we didn't want them to grow up like alone. Like, we didn't want her to grow up alone, like my daughter Sterling. So I had my son, and what I found out was that, hey, they do everything pretty much together. Yeah. Like, we knock everything out like they got in sync. I was like, this was not hard. It wasn't like I had to be here and then here and split time. It was like, oh, we just, I feed 2 mouths. Yeah. Same sitting. Wasn't anything different. Didn't change my routine as much as I thought it would. And I think we were like, my fiance, like Mackenzie and I both were like shocked. We were like, okay, this isn't that bad.
Let's have another one.
Yeah. And we were like, all right, what's up? but yeah, like we always knew we wanted like to have, a big family. Yeah. And I tell myself, I have buddies that have kids now, and I tell them, because they're like, oh, I have one. Like, I don't know how you do it, man. I don't know how you balance your time and do this and do that. And they're like, I can't see a second one for years, or like if I even have one. And I always tell them, like, no, you don't understand. Like, I don't know if it was unique to me, but I've heard this from other people as well that had the same experience, where they're like, it doesn't get harder. Like, it's going to be harder if you do it now, and then 4 years down the road you restart and you lose sleep all over again. So I was like, I'm telling people this, but at the same time I'm like 23, like 24. So they're like, okay, buddy. Like,
dude, that is such a fascinating story, and something I knew I was going to learn something about you today. I want to talk a little bit about your clients, and like, how you're obviously managing personalities, you're managing egos, I'm sure. And what and relationships play a tremendous role in what you do, but you are very much the behind the scenes guy.
100%.
So how do you market being behind the scenes guy?
So it's funny you say that. I'm in real estate, like I just told you. Like I also just invest, or I like they might have heard in the intro, I invest, I'm licensed. So like I'm well connected there. And right now we're going through closing on a property. Yeah. And I had to speak to the mayor, who is in that municipality. There were like things done prior to us buying the property.
It's commercial?
No, it's residential.
Oh, okay.
But there were things done to it that like were done without permits and different things. Like, so we ran into a situation where we're all going to do things and we're like, this does not involve us. Violations are being pushed out on us. And now I'm looking and I'm going, okay, well, that's not our problem. So I call him up, I get in touch, and he goes, okay, your violation is going to be, a fat violation. It was like a couple $1,000s. So now I'm like, make a couple phone calls. And when we get back on the phone, he's like, the minimum I can put your violation down is $250. I go, you got it. And he goes, by the way, you may be the most well-connected 25-year-old I've ever met in my life. He goes, I said like the number that you're going to pay in that violation, and immediately my phone started blowing up. And I was like, well, that's just how it is. I was like, I'm going to reach out to everyone I know, and I'm going to say, hey, I do favors for people.
Yeah.
And I'll never call in a favor unless I need it. And in that situation, I'm like, well, I think this is ridiculous. So I call it. And that kind of plays into what I do with marketing as well. So I'm the behind the scenes guy. And this, me coming out, I'm on a tear with podcast and talking to people. And that wasn't my idea. That was actually all of my clients I work with. Common theme was, hey man, I have a huge following. Why don't you do that? Or, why aren't you're very, very good at what you do. Why don't you ever put it out there on social media? Because obviously you know the power if you're doing it, which is true. But I tell people this, I'm so involved still in my business, not to the point where I'm the one that's actually running your ads and clicking the buttons and doing things like that. But we're managing personalities and brands, and there's a lot at stake for these people. They're putting good money into it.
Yeah.
And I care about that. Like it means a lot to me that they trust me with that. So I put a lot of time and energy into it. And when you're doing that, you can't necessarily be a full-time content creator and really grow the brand the way that I know I should be doing it. So it wasn't until recently that I actually started putting in upper management into my business to allow me to now not give up like the strategy and the connections and everything like that, but to more so say, okay, well, I need to start branding myself as well because I want more from this and I see what there is to get out there. And you're right. I'm usually the man behind the scenes. No one even knows I exist. They just see these big brands and these big personalities and they just go, oh yeah, that guy's awesome. And they never really put together that there's someone behind it. They just think that this guy is doing it all on their own, which is the way it should look. If I'm doing my job right, you don't even know I exist.
Yeah.
But to your point, like, yeah, I really haven't in the past promoted myself. I've done such a good job and have been so well connected that I just get referred out constantly. So I do really good work for a high level individual, and that individual will go, wow, that was great. And anyone else who asked, they want to put my name out there. And that to me is another piece as to why I had trouble giving up control, is because I had to have every little detail right. I'm very, very involved.
That's how you came off on the calls.
Yeah, I had to be very, very, it has to be this way. And if someone wasn't doing it right, I felt that it reflected on me. And the only way that I wanted to leave a relationship with a client was that I did such good work that they're going to refer me out to everyone. They can't stop talking about me because they're making so much money that they're like, this guy changed my life.
Yeah. It's so funny because I'm having back-to-back people who are used to being on the other side of the camera or the image. The episode before I had the owner of Kai Visions, who is, really my executive producer here. And it's such a different conversation talking to people who are traditionally used to being behind the scenes. So I think it's fucking awesome, frankly. But then, on the other side of the token, it's like, I love how you take pride in your work, and as a business owner, like, take ownership. I think there's a lot of business owners who don't. And once they feel like they have reached this point where they are an expert, their ego kicks in, and that's where they step away from their business. And maybe it's churning, but it says a lot when you continue to take ownership of every little thing that's operating beneath you. One question I have for you is, talk about a moment of adversity on this entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah.
When you were tested.
Yeah. So what people don't know is as soon as I started charging, my first month in business, I did over 20 grand net. And I held that for 4 months, all contractors. And then I really liked landscaping. So what I didn't account for was that landscapers in the winter are not going to need me because they're not even going to work.
Yeah.
And I'm making money. I'm doing good. You're getting the advice from your parents. Oh, don't buy that. Don't do this. That's stupid. And I'm like, well, I'm making money. I'm young, like supporting my family, and couldn't tell me anything. So then winter comes, clients all at the same time, like almost felt like all at once. They were just like, hey man, we're gonna put this on pause. I'm like, okay, until when? Well,
April.
yeah, pretty much. And then I'm like, oh, okay. So the calls come in back to back to back. Because at first it's like one client does it, you're like, okay. And then they all start doing it. And now I'm like looking, I'm like, I can't even pay my bills. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? I basically had to restart from scratch, build everything back up. I went through Christmas, spending money on your kids, doing all that. We ended up going to Disney. We had a trip already planned.
Shit.
And here's the craziest thing. I did not say anything to Mackenzie. Did not tell her. Because this is again like personal development here. I told you that I don't like handouts and I like to do things on my own.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very prideful. Like my whole life I've done that. Like if I need to figure something out, I didn't come to anyone. I figured it out on my own. So when this problem arose, I'm like, it's fine. I'm going to figure it out on my own. I didn't tell her. We go to Disney. I'm like spending like our last dollars in Universal. I'm like stressed out. We're on like, it's a small world. I'm going through it and everyone's like, oh, it's so cool. And I'm just like stressed that, like, the weight of the world is on me. And like we're going out to dinner. I remember we were in like Japan, we're getting sushi and I'm like, we're big sushi fans. And I'm like, getting sushi and everything. She's like, that's all you're getting? I'm like, yeah, I'm too hungry. Like, but it's like the financial weight is like on you right there in that moment. And I had to go through that seemingly all on my own. Obviously, I had to tell her at some point, like, we can't spend money. We're down. Like we're, I don't plan on staying down, but I'm down. And again, like, I look back at it. I'm like, I'm so.
I'll take you out to eat in April.
Yeah. We'll do everything in April. Like, let's push all of our plans out to April.
Tell you this
that
is a
sounds
seasonal
good.
business, baby. Yo, that is hilarious, bro.
Yeah.
Wow, man, it's so crazy because like watching someone do it and learn, and you talked about the value of just continuing to educate yourself is tremendous because you are kind of unassuming, and just hearing all of the things that you've been able to accomplish in a short period of time and is ridiculous. I want to talk a little bit about purpose and what what would you say are like your guiding principles when it comes to the way that you lead your life, the way that you lead your business, and the way that you lead your family?
Yeah. So I have high moral standards. I always have. Like ever since I was young, I don't know if it's watching too many superhero movies, but you always feel like you're supposed to be the good guy in the situation. And all throughout school, like if I ever saw anyone, getting picked on or like just I felt like someone was like, you have a group and you kind of see it, someone's like the outlier. Like I wanted to talk to the outlier. Like I wanted to talk to the person that was on the side. And like even to this day, I go to big events, big meetups. There's like one or two big guys in the room and everyone's crowding them. And I'm scouring the outskirts, trying to see who's just off to the side, too scared to actually network with anyone and talk. And I'm picking conversations with them because I'm like, I want you to be involved here. Like, hey, didn't you pay? Like, did you pay to get in this event? Like, yeah. Like, man, it was a pretty hefty price, right? Yeah. So what do you do? And then I start talking to them and I'm like, well, I'm not going to waste my opportunity here to network with people. And I try to instill that, like, hey, you come with me. Let's go network with people. Let's go talk to people. Yeah. And I'm always that type of person to rope someone in. So I feel like that kind of base, because I grew up like that, of like include everyone and always wanting to do what's right. And that's a hard thing to kind of define. Yeah. But I guess the way I would define it is like following my gut on like if I went to bed, if I go to bed tonight, can I sleep knowing that I did everything in my power to improve the people around me throughout my day? I'm that person that, I go into Starbucks and I'm like trying to make the cashier's day better. Whatever you say, to someone, you're gonna leave an impact on them. And I truly feel that way. A funny other example is again, with this property, it's been a nightmare, like dealing with things but we go into the municipality, into the building, and we're dealing with a guy right away. He's just like grumpy, older guy, head of the construction department. And I go in there, and Mackenzie was actually with me. So right away we go in, and he's like yelling. Like I knock on the door, he's like, come in. And just say, yeah, I'm like, we're in for it. So I go in right away, greet him with a smile, and we end up leaving there. 2 hours later, he remembered that interaction so much that he ended up calling me and going, hey, just so you know, you're gonna, when you get these things done, package them up this way. It'll help us process them a lot faster. It'll get you to the top of the pile.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, just by being that way and like being upfront and being honest. I told him, I'm like, listen, man, I've never done a transaction quite like this one, and you're the expert here.
Yeah.
What would you say? Like, what would you do in my situation to help me get through this? And they tell you. And that, again, goes back to, I say in everything, I'm a continuous learner. So it goes back to, like, I like, truly wanted to learn from him. I wasn't just buttering him up just because I'm like, I got to be nice to this guy.
Yeah.
Like, I really did want to learn what he had to say because I don't want to ever go through that again when I'm going through a transaction. But at the same time, just being honest and, like, treating him with respect and, being kind led to, hey, that guy really stuck in my head, because you can tell if he's calling you 2 hours later that he must have been sitting there thinking about that and going like, how can I help this guy?
Yeah.
And then when he reached back out, I'm like, there it is. That's why we do what we do. That's why you give and you don't expect. I didn't expect that call, but when I got it, I was definitely happy.
Yeah. I mean, like, how does faith play a role in the way that you kind of guide your life?
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, did it play a role early on? And is that what you impart on your children as well?
I love that you brought that up, because I, for a majority of my life, didn't believe in anything. I went to Sunday school when I was young. Went for, a month or so. All my friends went. They finished out everything. I gave up. I was like, Mom, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And like, we didn't go to church on Sundays or anything like that. So when I said that, she was like, okay, well, you got to do something else in place of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the sports and everything like that. So I'm going to be honest, until even after my first child, still nothing, didn't believe in it. But I did have these weird coincidences. Nothing's a coincidence now, but I had these coincidences that would just always happen. And like, I always had a gut feeling. I didn't know what it was, but even like when I was young, I'd be in school or something, I always had a gut feeling, this is going to work out. I rarely stressed.
Yeah.
This is going to work out. It always does. Like, somehow I always figure it out, and like, I always solve the problem. So the moment I just had this conversation before I came in here, so I love talking about it. I remember the moment when I had finally just given up, and I was like, there's a higher power. I'm in the Philadelphia airport. I'm flying out to Arizona. I'm taking a chance. Because I'd said, like, this digital marketing thing, it's still new. Things advance so fast. You got to learn from the people who are at the forefront. So I invest a lot of money traveling and learning from those people and being in the rooms, like you said. So I'm going to take a chance on myself. And I was actually doing it for someone who's a big influencer, but they're in the real estate space. So I was like, I'm going out there, and I wanted to learn a little bit in real estate because I wanted to know where I can funnel my money, because I didn't want to ever lose it again, not have anything. So I'm sitting in the airport. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to fly, because they were requiring the real IDs, and I didn't take the time to get one. Didn't even think about it. Didn't cross my mind. And I'm like, I'm probably not going to be able to fly. I'm sitting there. I'm like, but if I do fly, I'm going to make the most of it. So I end up being able to get on that plane. I go, and I'm having this whole, like, the whole time I'm there, these coincidences, these things that keep happening and falling into place, where I'm like feeling really weird. And I'm like, I feel like I'm meant to be here. Like, I have to be here. And I end up touching down. And the first thing I do is I have a friend that lives out there, and I reach out to him. Like, hey, man, you want to hit the gym? And he goes, yeah, I'm going to go to church first. I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, but it fits. I'm like, I want to come. So he sends me the address. I go out there. And I love telling the story because, like, I go out there and right away we're in a, like, very affluent zip code.
Yeah.
So,
Scottsdale?
yeah, Scottsdale. So
Yeah.
I go and I'm like, I show up, Bentleys are pulled out front and stuff, supercars packing the lot. He's like, you're probably going to have to park out back on the phone. I'm like, at a church? So park out back, trolley comes, picks you up, pulls you out to the front door. You don't even get to walk. I'm like, this is crazy. So I go in there, Krispy Kreme, set up, like coffees, and it's all just complimentary. So I'm like thinking I'm gonna pay for this stuff. I'm jet lagged. Like I'm like, all right, I get over there. I'm like, oh, crazy. So I'm stocking up. I get in there. I'm sitting next to my buddy, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, let's see what this is about. I haven't been in a church in forever. Let's see what this is about. And up on this, I'm also having a moment in my agency at this time where I'm like struggling to break through like this bottleneck, and I can't figure it out. And no one in the space, no one I talk to has been able to figure it out for me. And I'm like banging my head against the wall because I'm a problem solver. And I'm sitting in the audience, and the pastor brings up his good friend, multi-million-dollar marketing agency owner, onto the stage.
Who was it?
His name's Ryan Thogmartin, and he's in the death care space. And Ryan's become a mentor for me. Only does funeral homes, multi-million dollars. Like, only does funeral homes, and that's what I tell people. You got to niche down because you can't do it all.
Yeah.
Like, no one can do it all. So, and that was something he kind of, had told me,
yeah.
and that's why I started really getting into coaching and figuring out, okay, well, who are my favorite clients right now? I just want 100 of them. I don't want to be dealing with all these guys that give me headaches. Like, I want to do the work that I love. And
so this guy comes on stage.
Yeah, I get chills thinking about it because I'm like, I'm going to talk to him. I know I'm going to talk to him. I just had like a gut feeling. I'm like, I don't know where he's going to be after this, but I know I'm going to run into him. I'm going to talk to him. And sure enough, talk to him, and we're in touch today. Mentor of mine helped me break through multiple bottlenecks in my business. He's been there before me, so I really take what he has to say and, like, implement it right away. I'm like, implement that. He said that. He's been there. He's done that. Let's do it. And ever since then, I was like, coincidences are not a thing, and faith has played a huge role in not only my business but my life. And it was so funny because I come back, and like I was in this like community type thing for the real estate thing. So I come back, Mackenzie's like, "What happened to you on that trip?" like you totally just. I'm calling her from the room I'm in while I'm away, and I'm updating her on my day, and she's like, "It's all these people are really, really bought into this thing that you're at." I'm like, "Yeah, but it was more than that. It wasn't just like that. I'm in this community, and all these people are investing together, and they're happy, and we're going out to dinners and doing all these things. Like, that was cool as community building." I'm telling her that, but I think there was like a shift in me as well where I was like, alongside that, where I was like, oh, I really like have something to believe in, and like that gut feeling I felt all my life that things are gonna work out. Like, maybe it wasn't me that it wasn't just me, because all my life I told you I rely on myself. I don't like to have help from anyone. I want to do it myself. I'm self-sufficient. So in that moment, I was like, oh, I'm assuming it's me. It's really not.
Yeah.
It's really not. Like, I think I'm in control, but I'm not.
It's such a blessing to come to that conclusion where you're at and at that point in your life. It's so crazy, bro. For me, it took a lot longer to understand that I'm not in control of any of this shit. And when I finally did, good things started to happen. Those coincidences, I call them God shots. It's God just being like, hey, there's a reason for this. This is all happening at the same time. Like, God shots, man. And they appear when you look for them. So there was a time in my life where I was just really closed off to them. And I didn't think anything was happening because of something outside of me. And it was all about my own will. But now I look for the God shots, and they're everywhere. And they're all blessings. And they have opened up a lot of doors for me. That was a beautiful story, man. And I'm really grateful that I brought you down. I'd love to ask you a final question, which is, What advice would you give to somebody on that journey of finding purpose?
So, it's a tough one because there's so many ways I can go with it and so many things I would like to say. But I'll say this. I have a lot of people in my community and a lot of people starting agencies that reach out to me. They say, Mike, I'm trying to do this. How can I figure it out? And the one thing that I always go back to is doing the work that you love. So, like, and again, that's super broad, and I want to really make an impact with what I leave here. So when I say doing the work you love, it's like, yeah, do what you like to do. Make sure you can make some money from it. Make sure you can support your family, or yourself, or the lifestyle that you want if you don't want a family. But the number one thing that I tell these, like, everyone in that situation is a lot of these guys are young. They want to start a business because they saw something on YouTube and they feel like they want to be one of those gurus. And they're like, I'm going to have all the money, all the girls, all this, all that, the whole nine. Those things come and go. And you find that out when all the landscapers drop you and you have no money. And the one thing that's always going to be there is, first of all, your family. If you found the one, they're always going to be by your side, and your faith. So throughout all of that, throughout all the troubles I've ever gone through, I've gone through like tough times, really rough times that we didn't get to touch on. And I always had that gut feeling, like I said, that I would pull myself out of it, and had that guiding force. And that was all rooted in faith. And I'd say if you just follow that, you follow that gut feeling, even if you don't really believe in the moment.
Yeah.
If you just follow that, you'll be all right. You'll find your purpose.
Yeah. What? Shit. Now I kind of want to touch on the rough time.
Yeah. We can do it real quick. I'll brush through it. So I went through a period where, during that time when I didn't have money, where it was so rough, I had to. Now I didn't actually get anything taken away, but I dropped into falling behind on all of my bills, foreclosure notices, repos where they would take it and actually hold it in the garage. Like I see my car pulled right out with all my kids' stuff in it, and they're
wild.
Yeah, to the point where I had like nothing, and I had to rebuild from there. So when I lost everything, and I'm telling you, I'm in Disney, and I came home and I'm like, oh, there goes my car. I got to go get that back. I got to figure it out. And okay. I didn't come to anyone about it. I figured it out on my own. And that is a blessing and a curse, to be in that situation where you're like, I'm going to just figure this out. Things work out. But I love Godshot. You said that. Like that.
Dude, they're real things, bro.
Dude, because you will get laid out like that. And if you don't have faith.
That is a God shot, though.
Yeah, it is.
God shots aren't always good.
No, so recently I told you I love athletics.
Mm-hmm.
Recently got knocked in the head, like had a fat black eye, and then same day tore my meniscus. I was out, couldn't do anything. Usually I would have been super upset, like almost in like a depressive state if I couldn't work out and do the things I love, like in that way. And I was totally fine. And it was so odd because everyone around me was like knowing, oh man, Mike's gonna be so upset. He can't do what he wants to do. And when they saw like how I was reacting to it, they're like, what's going on? He's super happy, just going on. I was going to my meeting still. I had like this. I'm telling you, I'll send the editor, dude, black eye like I was a UFC fighter. And I just looked at it as, oh, this is a lesson. I needed to slow down. Maybe I was dedicating too much time into this. Maybe I was like, feeling like I was going to be a professional athlete again. And I'm like getting away from something that really, really mattered. And as soon as I stopped, because they were night games and things like that, as soon as I stopped going and doing those things, I was like, oh, we found this thing that we could take the kids to go do. And it was like those time slots were filled with something else. And my relationships in that way, like I got to see that I'm like, oh, now my daughter's 3 now, and she's going to start building onto like her journey in athletics or whatever she loves. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of time for me to step back, and maybe like I can still do it for the love of doing it and like recreationally, but maybe don't take it so seriously anymore. Like, you know, like it was a little too serious.
That's funny, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Dude, what a conversation. I'm so grateful that you came up, man. I'd love for you to just talk to my audience, tell them how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of my listeners will want to get in touch with you, and what you have upcoming.
I've got some big things dropping. I am obviously going on a tear. Like I said, I'm trying to build my own brand. We're going to have a YouTube channel, Instagram. I'm going to have a community, and I'm going to try to provide real value to you guys on how you can grow your personal brands. And I guess if you're looking to get in touch with me, you can either, I guess, just follow me on Instagram. It's going to be Mike Szwed. That is S as in Sam, Z as in zebra, WED _official. And you can hit me there and we can connect. Hopefully by the time you see this, it's growing because it's a brand new page. Adam follows me.
Hey,
so you can find him there.
Yeah. Guys, Mike, thank you so much for coming down. I just want to do a couple shout outs. I want to shout out my sponsor, Relive the Moments. They're amazing. They do NFC tap technology that you can incorporate into your business, whether it is for open houses if you're a realtor, whether it is for events, whatever you are doing, we can incorporate that to really bring a new layer of ingenuity into your business. John Lim and Tina over there are great. You can reach out to me and I can connect you directly with them. I'd also love to thank, obviously, the team here at Kai Visions, Justin, Claudio, always just kind of crushing it every single episode. If you are looking for any content, want to launch a podcast, want to create marketing material for your business or brand, feel free to reach out directly to me or them at Kai Visions on Instagram. Lastly, I want to thank all of you guys. Happy New Year to everyone. This is going to be a big year for the Finding Purpose podcast. It's going to be a big year for the events that we're doing, and I'm looking forward to further growing this community. And it can't happen without your likes, your follows, your shares, your subscriptions. All of that matters so that we can continue to spread purpose throughout the community. Thank you.